right now, this is all about action, and it's all about moving forward. If you want to be involved in the market, now's time to do it.
Hello and welcome back to Change and the Market, your weekly look at the changing real estate market. I'm your host, Brian, joined again, and as always, by Chris Masiello. Chris, how are we doing today?
Morning, Brian. Morning, folks. Good to be with you and our community.
Fantastic. We'll get right into it like we always do, Chris. How have things changed in the market over the past week?
Interesting week. So a lot of what we've been talking about in the last few weeks is about how the spring market really started, really starts end of January, first part of February. So anecdotally, now we're seeing that within our footprint, and then we're also seeing it now in the national news and then within industry publications, where there's a lot of talk about the fact that the spring market has opened up. And so I think that we should assume right now that we are in a race to the spring market. So a lot of what we've been talking about, sensing into, has really come to fruition.
Fantastic. So yeah, we have been talking about the spring market formation for the past few weeks, and we're finally kind of hitting that now. So taking that information that we are kind of really right up against it, how should people in the business use that? How should they move forward with it, with where the market is right now?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to understand that that the average home buyer to the average first-time buyer is 36 years old. That's the highest that's ever been for first-time buyers. The average repeat buyer is 59 years old. That's the highest that's ever been. And another statistic that I was able to get from a recent National Association of Realtors survey was that people are staying in their homes for roughly 10 years. That's the highest it's ever been. So, what does all that mean? We've got a very mature real estate consumer, which I think is good for the market, and it's good for the real estate transaction. People are staying in their houses a little longer because of inventory, and so I think it kind of underscores the kind of the facts are that this housing market is resilient because of the demographics, and we've talked about this before. The demographics of millennials and baby boomers, there's roughly between the two groups, it's 120 million people. We've never seen that type of a number before. There's Gen X, Gen Y group in there too, over and above that. And so housing is going to continue to be a good value because the supply side of it and the demand side is that it will support, prices as time goes on. So it remains a good value. And I think that's what you're seeing now, is that there is literally now a race to spring.
All right. And so what is your, before we wrap up, what's your little nugget of wisdom you have for listeners today?
Well, I'm a fan of Walt Disney, not Walt Disney, the locations, but Walt Disney himself. And, he was brilliant. And the person, he was brilliant. And he had a saying that he says, what we do here is simple. We always move forward. And to take that into maybe even more simplistic terms is that, neutral is the condition you pass through on your way to moving forward or moving backwards. And so I think that, whether you're a buyer or seller or, an industry practitioner, right now, this is all about action, and it's all about moving forward. If you want to be involved in the market, now's time to do it. Don't wait.
Nice and succinct. Actionable advice today. Fantastic stuff. As always, that's going to do it for this week's episode. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, if you're enjoying this show, make sure you subscribe or follow us wherever you're listening or watching Change in the Market, and come back next week for another brand new episode.
Thanks, Ryan. Good to be with you.